don't know our neighbours and we're actually fearful of them. Party line is that we hate everything that the other team does. And often then it becomes personal.
Yeah. Mrs. Shepherd would make me drinks. I used to love going there because she always had home-cooked food. You were involved. I do see tribalism in the church space.
Hatred
in
of
the difference. Life's really gritty at times, isn't it? We explore where we can access grace in the midst of the struggle.
Welcome to Filthy Hope.
We've noticed that many of you are listening, but you're not subscribing. Can you click below just to subscribe? It's going to really help us understand who's listening and how effective our podcast is actually being.
Welcome back to Filthy Hope. This is a podcast where we look for faith without any filter. We have radically honest conversations about stuff in life. And this is my friend, Rebna.
Hey, Jono, how are you?
So we're Ness and John, and we're just trying to talk about stuff that often doesn't get talked about in society or in the church, and unpeel back how we can actually find hope in some of the messy stuff of life that...
Yeah, and radically honest conversation about all sorts of different things.
Yeah, without any filter.
Yeah, exactly. And today we want to actually talk about welcome, and we want to talk about inclusion in welcome.
Yeah, because the world often is increasingly hostile and tribal, or we go in waves, and we're seeing a lot of it in society at the moment. So that's what we want to talk about today. So thank you for tuning in. And if this is your first time on Filthy Hope,
welcome.
And and we love having people. You don't have to have faith to be part of this conversation.
No way.
In fact, or maybe you're on the fringe of faith because your experience of church and religion has been unwelcoming, and we want to actually be a force for change in that sort of space.
Yeah, so, amazing.
Ness,
yes.
do you see?
Yes.
Do you see tribalism in the world and how that sort of works against welcome?
Yeah, that's a big question, John. Yes, I suppose I do, and I see it probably because of my life as a minister in the church.
Yeah.
and so church is my life these days. I do see tribalism in the church space, but I was wondering if I could talk about tribalism in my previous workspace.
Sure.
Is that okay?
So what was your previous space?
Yeah,
space before spaces.
Yeah, my previous life was wellness in the corporate space, and I was a medical exercise specialist, so I had these corporate gyms set up in pharmaceutical companies, and we used to do this incredible welcome to new people every year when the company would induct their new staff members.
Yeah.
They would have this big induction period of days where they would be onboarded to all the different parts of the company. And because I was managing and operating the wellness facility, the gymnasium, that was a section of their major induction. And it was such a terrific thing that I had an opportunity to be a part of and be an influence in.
Yep.
And they obviously found value in it because I put a very positive spin on well-being.
Yep.
So looked at well-being not from a sickness point of view, but from if you can be
flourishing.
Flourishing, absolutely. Because you think about a pharmaceutical company, they're all about the medicine.
Which is responding to illness.
Yeah, that's right. But in the gymnasium, we were doing all sorts of wellness initiatives.
Proactive,
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think was the reason for that? Like, what were they trying to subvert or head off in doing this induction? What were they aware that this was needed, because if it wasn't done, what do you think would be the ill consequences or the bad consequences?
I think this particular company found that it was an absolute benefit having a gymnasium on the work site.
Yeah.
And it was one of the things that drew people to this organisation because it was seen as a real benefit.
Yeah.
You know, think about what a gym membership costs these days.
Yeah.
For a year, $1,000, $1,500 a year, and you got that as a part of being a staff member. in the corporation.
Yeah.
So they saw it as a benefit. If the staff member was well and healthy, then they would probably, from their perspective, be able to deliver higher results, dividends for their company. But I believe that they wanted their staff to be healthy and well because they really did, as a healthcare provider, care about the wellness of their people.
Okay.
But I think it changed the onboarding and the welcome to the company. This was their first day, their first foray into this new job, and they would have this extravagant welcome. I would have them dancing, doing really cool routines. I would have them laughing and giggling. So they were having this really happy cultural experience in a corporate workplace, which could be seen as quite stuffy, you know?
Pressure. Competition within the space.
Yes.
You've got to beat the other person because it's a sales-based company.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So there could be tension between people.
100%.
And that tension then gets into people.
And they started
and that actually erodes their wellness and their productivity, 100%. Even though they're trying to be more effective in it.
So their welcome, these first day of working there was a happy, bright encouragement. This is the culture of our company, and this is what we stand for, and welcome to this. I'm really proud of that company and how they did that, because it was really cutting edge.
Yeah.
And I think it was one of the things that set that company apart.
Yeah. Well,
in all that they did. And I was there for 35 years.
Wow.
Was an incredible welcome. Yeah. It's a really positive welcome experience.
Yeah. So that's shaping how we react to ourselves.
Yes.
And how we are in ourselves. If you haven't heard about positive psychology, this is a key part of it. And positive psychology is not just about being positive. It's actually looking at, you talked about traditional psychology looked what's wrong with you. And that's a valid part of psychology, but just not having anything not wrong with you doesn't make us right.
No, that's
so positive looked at the positive end of the spectrum, what was right with people, and learning from that so that people could flourish by doing more of that. And Martin Seligman is the one who was a key person in initiating that. And he created the PERMA model of wellbeing, which has positive emotion, so stuff that you talked about, happiness.
Yeah.
Then the next one is engagement, and that's got to do with flow, being your best self, where you're challenged to do good, but it's not too challenging that it's stressful, and it's not so under-challenging that it's boring.
Right.
And then positive relationships. And then so PER, positive relationship, M for meaning, that is doing something that serves a greater good that's bigger than yourself. And then A is the accomplishment of big gritty goals. But that sense of, if we can set that, we're on the way to wellness. And that relationships. And I think about our First Nations people here in Australia. There's a thing called Welcome to Country, and it used to be a cultural protocol that if two tribes came together or one was moving across the land, because there weren't set borders, they weren't like we have, in Australia or in America or whatever, different countries or different states, that there's a clearly defined border. That's not the way our First Peoples worked, but you entered into the space of another tribe or group, and you were welcomed to country, because country is identity, spirituality, and connectedness. There's no me in it for our First People. It's always we and us.
Yes.
And when we, the different people, come into this new our space, they're welcomed into the story. They're welcomed as a greeting, but also said, this is the sacred stories. These are the sacred places that is good to go to, and these are the sacred places that's not good to go. This is women's business areas, so the men knew not to go there, and this is where the men's stuff happen, and this is what we eat, and this is where you can fish and hunt and things like that as part of the story, so that people could be well.
Yes.
That there wouldn't be any source of division because people understood
it was inclusion
where they
from
were.
The start. Yeah.
So it wasn't just, hi, like we would do, knock, knock, knock.
Yes.
Hi, Ness. Welcome to my house. Come in.
Yeah.
It's welcome to my house. These are the girls' bedrooms. Boys, please don't go in there. This is the fridge. My wife's lactose intolerant. So if you could keep that milk.
Yeah,
because and just eat the regular milk. And this is the coffee table.
Here's the bathroom.
Yeah, here's the bathroom and here's the fridge and here's the laundry and this is the coffee table. This was from my nan.
Yeah, I know.
This is part of our history. She got it from her thing.
Yes.
Please don't put your feet on it.
Yes.
This is actually a story that I heard from a YouTube channel about how to understand Welcome to Country.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And I can't remember the amazing guy who told it. I can look that up. We'll put a link in the description. But this sense that it allows us to relate well. And in our society today, I think we don't see that happening. We don't know our neighbours. There's, I don't know when you were growing up, but, used to know all your neighbours.
And we would play in their yards and play in their houses.
And in the street.
Mrs. Askew would make me sandwiches.
Exactly.
And Mrs. Shepherd would make me drinks. I used to love going there because she always had home-cooked food. You were involved.
And you see it in the TV show where people would show up with a meal, welcome to the neighbourhood.
Yes. Totally.
And I think that's where we learn a proactive thing. Now we don't know our neighbours and we're actually fearful of them. We don't know our neighbours in our countries. We see increasing multiculturalism, and as beautiful and wonderful as that can be, we often see fear and hatred of the difference, that they're different or we're going to lose something that we have. They're going to take it from us or take over our space. And rather than seeing it being an enrichment, we see that we might lose stuff, so we get hostility. Seen it even in sport. When I was growing up and we'd go to cricket, I'm not big into sport, but, you'd cheer, and when the other team did something well, you'd clap them.
Yes.
Don't see that as much now.
That's an interesting...
You always see it sometimes booing the other team.
Yeah. Can I just be really radically honest?
Yeah.
When I went to the US, we often would try and see a game of some sort over there. And I remember going back to Cincinnati. We went back to Rob's high school, Moorhead State University in Kentucky. And
Rob's your husband.
Rob's my husband. And my daughters were playing competitive basketball at the time. So we wanted to go and see a game. So we lined up a game, and the thing I loved, and this is going to be really controversial and fly in the face of everything you just said, the thing we loved about it was the booing was allowed and a part of the collegiate culture of the game. So it was unlike anything I'd experienced in Australia because we're not allowed to boo. But the booing was almost like it's not actually done in poor sportsman.
More like the pantomime boo.
It's kind of like that.
Where that person came on stage in the old pantomime.
Right.
And there'd be a sign that would say, boo.
Cheers,
and you'd sort of smile, boo.
Yes.
It's like, oh, boo,
It was so
boo,
cool.
you're winning and we'd rather win. But I think it's more vindictive these days. It's not.
I didn't pick up that in the basketball.
No, not in that, but I think in a lot of sporting matches now we actually see hostility boo.
Right, yeah.
You're not my tribe and we actually hate you winning.
Yeah, wow.
We're not celebrating. It's not, and it's becoming a negative part of our culture where it's not good-natured
and
ribbing.
Right.
Where you just rib your opponent and then afterwards you go to the pub.
Right.
And we all have a drink together.
That's right, yeah.
This is, we see hooliganism where the team loses.
And they get aggro.
And they get aggro at each other. They punch the other people.
True,
there's riots or there's, we see that. And we see it in politics where, you have a go at the people, not just their policies. And you have to hate the other tribe. And you have to stand against everything they do. Yes. Rather than saying, oh, well, I disagree with that. Or actually, That's good. And we saw it here in Australia recently where some of our conservative politicians voted for, that were in the shadow government, so in opposition, voted with the government on some really important legislations around hate speech.
Yeah, so they came together.
Well, no, that's the problem. Some of the politicians voted for the government from the opposition, but because they didn't vote in line with their tribe, they were demoted because you have to, as a tribe, do
Stick
the
with
same thing, pull the party line or you're out or you're punished. And the party line is that we hate everything that the other team does. And often then it becomes personal.
Yeah.
And then that feeds into our society where
it's messy, isn't it?
we hate different people and we see racism. We've seen anti-Semitism in Sydney, which is both anti-religion and and racism, racism.
Totally.
And then
totally.
we also see it against, then the feedback is then because some radical or extremist Muslims did something terrible to our Jewish community, then all Muslims get targeted. And the lovely lady down the street who's just wearing her hijab as part of her faith gets abused on a bus.
It's not right.
Yeah. So how do we use that cultural welcome that we talked about? What does that look like in our spaces?
Can I talk about cultural welcome in the US?
Yeah.
Because I've got a favourite couple of cultural welcomes that I absolutely love. And I don't know how authentic they are, but I don't really care because I love it.
Yeah.
And one of my favourite welcomes is Disneyland.
Yeah.
It's like a welcome on steroids, John. When I've had the opportunity to go to Disneyland more times than I've lost count now.
Yep.
Only because I've been married to Rob for 36 years and I've been travelling back and forward to the States.
Plus it's your happy place.
It's totally my
take you back to the childhood that was stolen from you.
Yeah, it's just the best. I feel so happy there. So it wouldn't matter if somebody was mean to me there. I wouldn't probably hear it, see it or feel it, right?
Yep.
But you arrive at Disneyland and the welcoming person, you're all queuing to go into the park and you're waiting to get in. It's super exciting and anticipation. And this is me not as a 20-year-old. This is me as a 50-year-old.
Yep.
I'm still like a bloody 12-year-old. And I'm waiting and the lady says, "Welcome to Disneyland." And I say, "Oh, thank you so much. I'm so excited. This is like the best day ever." And she says, "Well, honey, I hope you have the very best day. Do you need a map? Here's a map." And I said, "I don't need a map, babe. I know where everything is." You know, well, how many times have you been? And we can have this great conversation. And I instantly feel like I'm in the Disney family.
Yeah.
And that doesn't just end there with the lady at the gate. I then move through and my next routine is I get my new ears for that day.
Yep.
And I walk up to the ear lady or the ear man and pick my ears for the day. And they're just as excited and just as welcoming. And they join the infection of the excitement and the positive energy that place exudes. And it just goes all day. It's just constant. Great. Even when you get your cup of coffee, there's not one dead shit to be met in Disneyland. It's just a vibe of welcome, joy and happiness like I've never experienced before.
And the hope is that the people who are doing that
are authentic.
Love it too.
Yes, yes.
And that they have, like you did in your corporate space, induction and a culture in the place that they actually love being part of something that makes people feel happy.
Yeah. I bet the hype up that they do before they open the gates is incredible for the staff.
Yeah.
I bet there's a big, they must do a big positive education piece for their staff because they are all those kind of people. No, there's nobody there. Yeah. Even the people cleaning out the bathrooms, and they keep that absolutely pristine throughout the day, are happy and inviting and welcoming. Yeah. Welcome to come and have a wee. Here's some paper towel. You know, it's like, yay, I'm having a wee. Like, that's extreme, isn't it?
Yeah, and we want it to be radically honest.
Yeah,
because you see those movies of the opposite trope where the character takes off their character mask and is in the staff thing.
Yeah,
and they're grumpy and depart. And actually what they're having to do just makes them feel depressed, and they take out their cigarette and they have a drink. And the worst one, you know, in some of the movies is, you know, you see them being angry and the kid punches them and they punch the kid back. And, you know, I don't think that's the Disney way.
No, I don't
but I
so.
think when people mimic it.
And it's
to
fake.
Make money and fake it. Disney came out of Walt Disney's desire for this to be
it's
a magical
in the
place.
Yeah, that's right.
That brings some joy to people. It wasn't just set up to make money. I mean, it does. It obviously is a huge big company now.
100% makes loads of money.
Disney's original thing was this.
Well, he suffered depression.
Yeah.
And he lived above the fire station for periods of time when the park was opened, and he would live up there, and he would come down into the park and disguise himself and then just mingle amongst the people to feel the happiness in the place, and probably to watch how his teams were doing what they were doing.
Yeah.
And
if they were doing it real.
Yeah, what a magnificent cultural legacy
he'd have
for the park, right?
A radar for not real.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And there's that show Undercover Boss where a CEO or the owner of the company goes in and pretends to be a worker all dressed up and disguised to just see how the actual culture of the place is. And sometimes they discover amazing culture and they're able, you know, they meet the actual workers and they hear the story and either give that person a promotion that is doing really well or a bonus or help them in some amazing way. But the truth is sometimes, despite the culture saying you've got to welcome the person, you've got to smile, you've got to say that, but, you know, all the customers, they're just annoying, whatever. They discover whether it's real or not and that their business is as they set it up to be and authentic to the culture.
Yes.
I think about churches when you, you know, often you go to a church and there are people at the door that might even have a badge that says welcome. We've got them at our church.
Do you? Yep.
And, you know, some of the mega churches, you know, have people.
Oh, they do that very well.
Yeah. And that's good because you get that first experience that people are happy.
Imagine being nervous going into a church for the first time. What if you hadn't ever experienced that idea of you going into a space that you don't know, you're nervous about what you're going to listen to, you don't know the vibe at all.
Yeah.
To have somebody meet you at the front door is pretty bloody cool, really.
Well, it is, as long as they're not just a happy face.
Right.
As you said, you know, and a bit like our First Nations Welcome to Country.
Right.
And you experienced at Disneyland. Do you need a map? Here's the facilities. What are you interested in? Where do you want to go? I've seen amazing welcomers at our church who a new family comes in, they say, okay, here are the toys.
Yeah, nice.
There's a table set up for kids. Don't worry if they make noise.
Love that.
Here's our room. If you need to feed or feel like you need to
quiet
private.
space.
We love the noise, so don't feel you have to go there.
Oh, that's great.
Can you? And then they introduce it to somebody in the church and say, here.
This is Julie.
They're new today. Can they sit with you?
Beautiful.
That's done well.
That's good
it's
welcoming.
Not just the thing of being happy and, we love to see you.
Yes.
And then you're left by yourself.
Yeah, true.
Because you've been welcomed.
Yeah, that's my job's done.
My job's done.
Yes.
And then we have some amazing people who aren't the welcomers who I know and I watch go and find that new person and engage them with a conversation.
Yeah, because they're just inclusive in their nature and want to get to know and be curious about why you've turned up today. You know, that's special.
So when we think about welcome, I think there are phases of welcome. And if we're to be a better society and undo some of this stuff, in the Uniting Church we talk about being cross-cultural, not just multicultural where we tolerate you.
Right.
You can come and sit in our church and we recognise that you're different. You're sort of welcome.
Yep.
As long as you don't interfere with the culture. True cross-cultural thing is where we greet you But then we seek to understand who you are and what you're about, and we weave that in. So we might use your language.
Yes.
You know, that's part of why we do an acknowledgement of country in our services. Did you do one?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, every week.
And why do you do it? Do you just do it because you're told to by the church?
No, we acknowledge the traditional landowners of our space and our land in which our church is set up, and the Birrabirragal people of our land in Wallara were the traditional landowners, and we built on their land.
Yeah, so that's a justice issue. So that helps them hear
and I need to
a sense of sorriness.
Remind my community every week that we are on land that wasn't ours.
Part of it's also in the Uniting Church creating a safe space for those people that they can come in and go, we're acknowledged.
Yeah, this is
because
ours.
in the Australia we 100%. Had, if you don't know Australian history, we had a white Australia policy for many, many years. It was a government policy, and the way that our Aboriginal people were treated was to breed the white out of them. They were taken away from family and culture and educated to be white people even though they were black. And so they didn't know their language or their culture. So to come into a space where that's celebrated is really important.
So important. Can I ask you about welcome? And I know that we've both of us come from a history of being school chaplains.
Yep.
I know that you used to be called the Rev at Ravenswood. They didn't call you Rev John. You were just the Rev.
Yep.
And I think that was even in your signature.
Yep.
Which I think is really cool.
In parentheses.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's right. Exactly. And when I went to MLC school, so I'm ordained into my first placement at MLC
as
school.
A deacon?
As a deacon, yep. And I remember the principal saying to me, so Reverend Williams-Henke, and I'm thinking, oh, shit, I can't be Reverend Williams-Henke. That's a despicable mouthful of words, because at that stage, the reverends were always only known as Reverend last name.
Yep.
And I remember sitting there in my meeting. You might have actually been there in that one of those meetings. Probably. And I remember saying to her, oh, Louise, could I just be Rev Ness? And she said, well, we've never done that. We've never had a history of that before. That's not what we always go by our last name.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, but it doesn't feel very kind or welcoming if to children. My name's a whole big double-barrel thing.
Yeah.
And the other minister that I was going in with had a shorter name, and the two of us adopted our Christian names as within our reverend title.
Yeah.
And I thought it was just more friendly.
Yeah.
And so it became a bit of a change for the school to adopt, I actually know her name.
Yeah.
She's got a name outside of last name. And then I remember introducing myself to the kindies and the pre-kindies because I'd have classes with them. And I remember the teacher saying, and now this is Rev Ness. Say good morning, Rev Ness. And they'd say, good morning, Rev Ness. But some of them didn't know what the Rev thing was, because what the heck is that? Yep. It's a bit dumb, isn't it? It's a bit silly that we even say it as a thing.
It means revered one.
Well, it so didn't need to be there. I probably should have just said, this is Ness.
Yeah.
And the little kids would, because what they're hearing is only what they understand.
Yeah.
And I would get, good morning, Miss Red Ness.
Red Ness, yeah.
Red Ness. And so it became a joke. Everybody would call me Red Ness. Yeah. I loved it. And that felt better. That felt so much better. How are you, Red Ness?
And in the schools that I was in, I was the chaplain.
Yeah.
So I could be the Rev.
The Rev, yes.
Rather than Mr. Humphries.
Yeah.
Or Reverend Humphries, which I think I had a principal actually correct me once. She said, you're not to be Mr. Humphries. You're not to be Reverend Humphries, because Reverend is an honorific. Like our MPs are called the Honourable.
Yes, right.
But you would just call them Mr. Albanese, the Prime Minister.
She didn't want
you to be.
And he'd
be the Honourable Mr. Albanese.
Yeah, yeah.
And so Reverend is not a title.
Yeah, wow.
It's an honorific. So you'd be the Reverend Jonathan Humphries or Mr. Humphries And that's where I went, well, I'll just be the Rev because I'm the chaplain.
All too tricky.
But I think part of that is owning a sense of approachability.
Totally.
So that's really important.
Because we want to be, I know you so well and I like to think you know me now, and we want to be welcoming.
Yeah.
I don't want to create any distance.
I don't want to be the revered one.
No. Heck no.
God knows I know how crap I am at being a human. Okay. Don't revere me, revere God if you're going to revere anyone.
Yeah. That's it.
But I want people to feel that they are revered in their coming. I think, though, that's the first part of welcome. The second part is when we find a place in our community. I say it to my people, or I'm trying to help them understand that welcome is not just being greeted.
Yeah.
Welcome is when you feel not just greeted warmly, which is the first step, but then seen, like in Avatar, I see you, I see who you are, and I appreciate you for you.
Yeah,
you are included because you're special in some way, or you're just unique and special, and you have a place here because we're all special. Or at least that's our understanding of God's love, that everyone's included.
Yes.
But even then, that doesn't go far enough. You need to actually then find a place, because if I'm special, then I should be able to contribute with the gifts I have or the culture I bring. That should be a part of who we are. And not straight up. Last thing you want to go, oh, you're the first person. This is your first time. Do you want to come and run the coffee store?
No, that's right. That's right.
But as you get involved in the community, and that's another thing, churches that I've been to have been really welcoming. I've been invited to social things or Bible studies or groups.
That's right.
Do you want to come? These are, we'd love you to come.
Open opportunities.
You don't have to
engage.
But we'd love you to be where you can make connections.
That's nice. That's how
you
get
to know people. And
then once you've
put in the roots, then you start to grow and you can be yourself.
And you've got to, and welcome, like you say, is the first point, isn't it? It's the foray into a deeper, more meaningful relationship. If you want to dip your toe in, wherever that is, right?
My story at Gordon Uniting Church, when I went there chasing a girl after feeling rejected from another church, probably because I was depressed. I turned up, and that first night, I got asked to pray with this guy behind the organ, sort of set up a little corner in the church.
Yep.
And he was crying, and then I ended up with crying, and I went, this is really weird, and I don't feel comfortable praying with other people, but I'm coming back next week because they saw that I could be involved.
Yeah, I love
and then
that.
as they got to know me, they said, oh, you've been a youth leader.
Yeah, wow.
You want you to be a youth leader here? I mean, we've got a great team, but we'd love to have you as well.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. So in our society, how do we use that?
Well, I wish at Disneyland, John, and I'm going to totally flip this. I wish at Disneyland somebody saw my enthusiasm and my desire to be a part of that team and invite me to be a Disney freaking princess. That's what I wish. That's naughty.
But you see those lovely clips where kids have dressed up.
Yeah, I know.
And then the characters involve them in that. So they actually do see that work where they then make them feel
connect,
that they are part of it
100%.
And that they're part of the team, even if in that moment.
Yeah. I think my dream job would be to be a Disney chaplain. How cool would that be?
Be awesome.
Oh.
Anyway, if we're going to have hope for society, we need to not fear the other. We need to see them as humankind. That is, we're the same kind, even though we're radically different.
Yep.
But the fact that we're all different in some way makes us the same kind.
Yeah, 100%.
And we need to be warm to each other. Just smile.
And authentically
smile at the people
welcoming.
in your street.
Yeah.
Don't, there's somebody in our building, if you live in units, just get into the lift. And actually say hi.
Yeah.
Strike up a conversation.
Yeah,
and then
does.
How do you become social or involved? Where are there groups that allow us to cross, like the old way of you go to the game, your adversaries while the game's playing, but then you go to the pub together and just celebrate that was
everything.
a good game.
Yes, exactly.
And I'm more with you because your team lost, but gee, it was good that we won. But,
yes.
But it's a good ribbing rather than a thing.
That's right.
And then how we find involvement. So that's why they set up sports clubs.
Yes, that's right.
You have your big team that's the winner,
Yep.
but then you have ways that people can get involved in the game and find meaning in community in a game, that the sports clubs, and that's why they created clubs that you could go to where you could get a meal and things like that, because it was actually a part of holistic culture around meaning and purpose.
It's a cool conversation, John.
Yeah, only the churches, political parties, everywhere.
That's right. I wish churches did it better.
Well,
wish we did it better.
And thank you to the churches that do. And if your experience is one that hasn't been the way, we're really sorry.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'd love you to be part of the Filthy Hope tribe.
Yeah. You're welcome here.
Yeah, you're welcome. And please leave comments and engage. We've got a Facebook page, Instagram.
And just email us directly as well. I will respond. John will respond.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
I love the feedback. It's really great.
Thanks, Ness.
Thanks, John.
That was a good thing.
It was a good convo.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you are welcome too. See you next time.
Bye.